In the last year, a record of 5.6 million businesses has started in the United States, and 86% of them are one-person operations. And it's insane that 20% of these businesses are taking home anywhere between $100,000 to $300,000 per year. And this is becoming more and more possible because of the advancements in AI. Now, what people get wrong when building an AI-powered business is that they focus so much on building and planning and creating the perfect product. But even after watching hours of tutorial videos, a majority of people can't even get their first customer. Now, from my experience after doing YouTube for the past 6 years and generating 7 figures just from this YouTube channel alone, the most important thing in building a one-person business is distribution. You could be the best in the world at what you do, but if nobody knows who you are, you will not make a dime. So in this video, I'm gonna review the secrets on how I built my profitable one-person business by focusing on just 3 things. And best of all, I do this all within Claude and Claude Design. And this process is what essentially allowed me to quit my 6-figure tech sales job in Silicon Valley to building my online business. And now I'm one of the fastest growing AI creators on the planet. And the best part is I can work from anywhere in the world as long as I have a laptop, an internet connection, a camera, I'm good to go. And even if you're just getting started with Claude and AI, this is going to work for you because regular everyday people like my client Sandy literally went from not knowing what Claude was to gaining over 20,000 subscribers from 0 in the last 2 months. And now she's going on a huge podcast. The last one she did got over 100,000 views. So if you want to do this for yourself, let's first begin by understanding why exactly you need to be building your personal brand and content creation system. Now, in the era of AI, it's going to be extremely easy for anybody to copy another person's products and services, right? You can use Claude to literally copy the product, an app, a website, a service, literally within minutes. So if everybody can copy each other, the only real defensible moat is building a personal brand and creating content. Distribution, meaning getting your name out there, getting people to know who you are, is going to be the most important thing moving forward. So it's about who can capture attention and monetize that attention, right? And a quote by Naval Ravikant, who is known to be one of Silicon Valley's greatest thinkers and philosophers and VCs, he said, "Your audience is your moat. Your email list is your moat. Your community is your moat, and your reputation is your moat." At the end of the day, code and products, these are all commodities. What's most important is your brand and whether or not people trust you and know who you are. So obviously content creation is the most important thing, but some of you guys watching this might have perfectionism or you're just hesitant to get started. And to help you get over that hurdle, I'm gonna show you something called the mountain of cringe. So when you're starting out into the content creation journey or really anything new, you're always gonna get a bunch of haters who are gonna say, "Oh, you can't do it. Oh, look at you, you're trying so hard." And they're gonna hate on you because they're insecure about themselves. They don't wanna see another person like you succeed. But as you start climbing this mountain, you go through that pain and you just ignore all these haters. What ends up happening is when you get to the other side of the mountain, you're gonna get to the valley of success. Now, the valley of success is essentially the rewards of putting in the work. So I will give you my version of the mountain of cringe. When I started, I tried so many business ideas after I quit my 9-to-5 job, and I basically lost all my money trying business ideas for a year. And I had to move it back in with my parents' home. And the last idea I tried was, hey, what if I just started creating content? So these pictures here are actually many, many years ago when I first started out. This is actually my parents' spare bedroom. I literally had $200 to my name and I was just trying to make it. And I didn't want to get a 9-to-5 job again, right? And so I started making these videos, and basically, even though I didn't have any money, I basically took out a credit card, took out a bunch of credit card loans with 12-month no interest, right? And then I just bought all this camera equipment and the microphone. This literal microphone right here is the one I started with like many years ago. And I was afraid that people would think that, you know, like I was broke and whatever, right? So I bought these wallpaper on Amazon for $45, put it on the wall to make it look like, oh, maybe I live in like a, you know, concrete studio or whatever. And I just started making my first videos. And fortunately, you know, within that month, I made my first $1,000 online with content creation. Because I went through the mountain of cringe, and you know, obviously a lot of people would have said, "Oh, Patrick fell off. Oh, he quit a 6-figure job to be a content creator, and look at him now, he's a loser," right? I suffered through all that for a year and made it to the other side. And now the benefits and the value of success is I get to work from anywhere in the world. I just need an internet connection and a laptop and a camera and I'm good to go. I have the freedom to travel. I literally go to another country. Last month I was in Singapore, for my friend's wedding. And I would say in the next month or two, I'm probably gonna go to Phuket, Thailand to train Muay Thai, do a whole training camp. Like, this is my life. It's dope. And the best part is I get to inspire others for a living, right? And the best feeling is not to make money for money's sake, but I get to create content, share my story, try to help you guys and educate you, and hopefully inspire you to do the same. Now, if you want to go more in detail on exactly how you can follow these steps when it comes to coming up with your business idea, how to create content, build a personal brand, and how to even get clients, make sure to sign up for my free live training that's coming up. I put the dates and the links in the description for you to sign up right away. Spots are limited, so make sure you reserve your seats before they run out. So if you're interested in doing something similar to what I'm doing, you need to understand that when you build a personal brand, you need a content machine. So this is how I personally do it, and you can take some inspiration, right? So it really starts with YouTube content at the top. I create this kind of content, I get a bunch of views and attention. With that attention, okay, people know who I am. I will basically lead them into different lead magnets, okay? A lead magnet is essentially, I give you some kind of free resource, you give me your email, and now I have your contact, right? The lead magnets will lead to an email, and then those emails can lead to, let's say, a webinar or a sales call, right? Which is the way we convert the attention into money and clients. And then if somebody goes on a sales call with me and my team, or they join a webinar, they can buy something from me, and then they become a client. And once they become a client, what we do is we get results for those clients, similar to Sandy, like I just showed you, and then we put it back into the content, and we just keep feeding the machine and make it better and better and better. So at the end of the day, what's funny is I joke a lot with my clients and I say, I'm really just a glorified content creator, right? My job is to make the best content, teach people the stuff that I learned and do so they can do it too. And that's pretty much all it is, right? It's simple, it's profitable, and it gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility to build a lifestyle business that fits your unique situation. So now that you understand the entire framework of how this content machine works, I want to next go into monetizing using Claude. And specifically, I'm going to show you a combination of how I'm using Claude Cowork as well as Claude Design in order to monetize my audience. So looking at the content machine, we want to start with the end in mind, right? The goal is to get clients. It's not to get views for just views' sake. We need to make money, right? And in order to make money, before you make a piece of content, you need to answer two questions. Number one, what to sell, right? How are you going to monetize? Are you going to sell an AI powered service, which I talk about a lot in my YouTube videos? Are you going to sell some kind of product or an app perhaps? Maybe you're going to do sponsorships and monetize the attention. For this video, it doesn't really matter what you sell. I do recommend an AI powered service. If you want to learn more about that, I put some links in the descriptions for other videos that will explain in more depth. But essentially, you need something to sell, right? The second thing is you need to decide who you're going to sell it to. So who is your ideal customer, understanding their pains, and really just build your content strategy around solving those problems. So what I'm going to show you next is how to actually design these lead magnet landing pages. What do the emails actually look like that convert people into customers? How does the sales calls work? And how do you get someone from YouTube to a sales calls? And also, what do the webinar pages look like, right? And I'm going to use Claude Design to show you how I do it. Once you see how I do it, you're going to be able to do it too. So easy. Press of a button, just watch. So let's start with a lead magnet, right? So in this example, this is a successful lead magnet for me. I've gotten thousands of emails from this page, okay? It's pretty simple. It's just download my free Ikigai skill. And by the way, if you want this skill and you want to use the Ikigai, which is just a Japanese term for, your reason for being, and it helps you find your business idea, I actually put the link in the description for you to get this exact skill. And it's gonna allow you to figure out how to take your skills, knowledge, and experience and turn it into a business, right? So for this particular lead magnet, I basically hire a designer and put it all together, right? But when I'm looking at it, I'm like, what would this look like if I used Claude Design just to make it way better, right? Because, I paid someone to do this in the past a year ago. I feel like it's a little outdated. It's kind of lame. How do we improve the aesthetics, right? And I want to show you guys as well so you can do this for yourself without having to spend $1,000 or $2,000 on a designer to do a website. So I found this mock-up website from a guy named Sudoku on Twitter, right? So I was looking at it, he made it with AI. I'm like, okay, this is pretty sick. How can I use this to improve the aesthetic of my business? So basically what I did is I opened up Claude Design, right? To use Claude Design, you just go on the website, claude.ai, and it's there. I screenshotted the website mock-up that I liked, literally just pasted it in there and said, hey, I'm looking to take the aesthetics and design and I want to create my own thing for my own landing page, right? So the first landing page that I created on the first shot was this. Now I did have this asset you see over here from a previous thumbnail that I had, which I also made with AI, by the way. And then I put it in here and said, okay, I want to use this little cute character and somehow put it in the image, right? So on the first shot, this is what it gave me. And I'm like, okay, it did copy the design a little bit. We took the inspiration, but it's not good enough. Like this thing looks really cheap looking. And I'm like, what is this, right? And I've learned from doing this with Claude Design, and it recently just came out at the time of this recording, right? So Claude Design is actually not good for creating any like illustrations in 3D yet. It's much better for websites, like PowerPoints, slides, infographics. It's really not that good for these 3D designs, right? I use other stuff for that. So what I did was I took a screenshot of the landing page that I was looking to improve, and I just ran it through Claude and said, hey, I want you to make it more like this, put a book there, put the Ikigai thing there, and just like copy and paste the text. So once I did that, it gave me this output. So I'm like, okay, we're getting closer. It's closer to what I wanted. It uses the style that I want, but the image, it's horrible. I can't use it. It looks really cheap. And so I was like, all right, let's just change that image. So what I did instead was, instead of using a Claude Design 3D graphic, I just used the same book that I had before because it works. Why not? I just needed a better website design, right? And then I was like, okay, something's wrong with this light mode. I wonder what it would look like if it was in dark mode. And so I just said, hey, invert the colors, make it dark mode, and bang, here it is. So when we compare my final output using Claude Design, just literally, it took me like 10 minutes just to like type what I wanted, right? And take screenshots of examples. You put the before and after side by side. I personally like this after significantly better. The spacing is better. The way they did the gradient in the back is better. It's just better overall. So now let's talk about the webinars, right? So I have a webinar coming up, and if you want to sign up for that, link is in the description. And I just put together this quick wait list, right? We're like, we don't have enough time to put together a wait list, but we want to collect emails. Let's just like put this up. So I made this, literally I took a template from the other one, changed the picture. I was like, what should I put? I just put a picture of me. And it converts pretty well, to be honest, but is it aesthetic? Is it good? I personally think it's just mediocre, right? But I did do it in like 5 minutes. So I'm like, all right, let's redesign this. What is it gonna look like? So what I did was I took this website that I made with Claude Design, and I just said, hey, duplicate this website, change all the text, and change the picture of me, and just make it better, right? That's literally all I said. There's nothing more to it than that. And so this is the output it came with. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh my God. I paid my website designer like $1,500 like a year ago to put together my website. And now I can literally just type a couple things in Claude and it will produce something significantly better than what I would pay $1,000 or $2,000 for, right? So if you're looking at this and you're like, damn, that's crazy, you can take my stuff, copy this, and just change it with your picture and your text. You can literally take anybody else's website or content or whatever and just use Claude Design to create a better version of it. This is crazy, to be honest. And basically what I do with these pages, whether it's a lead magnet or a free training, is I collect their email, right? And the whole point of getting their email is, number one, to get them on a call so that me and my team can have a conversation and sell them, see if it's the right fit. And number two, get them on a webinar. And on the webinar at the end, obviously we provide value in the beginning. And then if they want to take the next step, we sell them, right? So that's our monetization mechanism. If you check the link in the description, right, of every single video, you see I have this line that says work with me, then it has a link. The link actually just goes to my website where it's a video, which kind of sells them on my unique method of doing things. And then it just has more details on how I help clients, right? And then if you press book a call, what's gonna happen is it's gonna go to an application page, and then you can fill it out. And if you are qualified, it's a good fit, you can find a time on my calendar, and then we have a conversation, and that's pretty much how we close, right? To show you the power of Claude Design, I literally just took my website, sent the link to Claude, and said, hey, can you just redo the whole thing in the same style that we had? And literally in just like 5 minutes, it just remade my entire website. And it remade it even better than the designer who I paid like, 1.5K to design it initially. Like, this is good. This is actually good. So, when you're thinking about your website, all you need to do is find a website that you like, copy and paste the URL into Claude Design and say, hey, make me something similar, but change the copy. And instead of orange, let's use green instead, right? And it's gonna be something completely different and probably better than the original that you copied. And even for the book a call page, right? Like, you can just make this on Claude literally in like 2 minutes. It's so easy to do. Now, a really important part of building a content machine is to build systems. And to build a lean, profitable business that actually doesn't have to always rely on you. You need to build some kind of system or SOPs. Now, an SOP is just a fancy way to say standard operating procedure, which means a step-by-step guide for your internal team to do things. So anytime you find yourself doing something twice, that could be standardized into some kind of instructions or SOP. You can get AI to do the automations, or you can get an actual human being to have those instructions and just do it again and again. So whether it's like an assistant, someone under you, it doesn't really matter. Now, even though I'm really big on starting a one-person business, the truth is, as you grow, you don't want to be doing everything by yourself. You want a team of A players so that, you know, they can take care of the things that you don't want to do. Of course, with AI, you don't need a big team or anything, but again, doing it alone, you know, it's okay in the beginning, but I do highly recommend, you know, having a good solid team, even if it's just a couple people helping you out. Now, when it comes to creating these SOPs, the biggest pain point is that it takes a lot of time, right? You got to create a document, you know, write out step-by-step guides, and you have to constantly update it. So even if you're doing a lot of things with AI, especially, there's like a new update with Claude every day. So how are you gonna keep up with all these SOPs, right? So the solution I found is you should be using AI to automatically create all these SOPs, whether it's for your marketing or any aspect of your business, right? So I'm using Tango right now, and it's basically a software that allows you to just do what you normally do. It records your screen, and then it creates the entire SOP for you. So you just do it one time, and then it's pretty much like magically created with AI. So when I was doing this video, right, I wanted to turn it into an SOP. And what I did was I opened Tango as a Chrome extension, and I just did what I was gonna do. So I go into Claude, typing in different things, go into Claude Design, screenshotting everything, and just like doing it step by step, right? You see, I'm just doing what I would normally do. And then on the side, Tango's actually just creating that SOP for me. So after you record what you want to record, it just automatically creates a really nice SOP just like this, right? So for this one, it's about if I were to tell my team members to create a new landing page for a lead magnet, right? They would know like, okay, you go in Claude Design, you know, you copy and paste the image, you write in this prompt, then you press send, and it's gonna like zoom in and everything to give you a closer look. Then you go into Claude, you know, then you're gonna get the copywriting, put it in, and then, you know, all the details like the headline, what the new copy is, how to copy and paste it back into Claude Design. So all the steps that I essentially showed you when I created that website and landing pages, it's now an SOP. So I no longer for the rest of my life have to do this again, right? I'm just gonna give it to my team members. They know how to do the copy now. They know how to do the assets. They know how to create assets. And all I have to do is just do it one time. And you can see I did the exact same thing for the redesign of the website as well. So if we ever really needed to redesign the website, how I take inspiration from other websites and remix it, that entire process I essentially showed you in this video, it's now SOP'd. So again, this is not just for monetization, it's not just for website, it's literally anything, whether it's a thumbnail, title, the script writing, you know, anything that you do twice can be turned into an SOP, and that's how you build a scalable business that doesn't rely on you. And just so you know, Tango is a partner for this video, and if you want to give it a try and create SOPs just like how I do, I put a link in the description for you to try for free. Check it out and see if it's the right fit for you. So now you understand how we monetize, right? We get the attention, we get the email, we get them on calls, webinar, all that kind of stuff. And so now you get the monetization aspect of it. But now I want to go into how to actually create good content so that you can actually get views and people landing on your landing pages and booking calls with you. If we're looking at the content machine, we're going to be looking at the YouTube content and the views right now, right? Because we already covered all these other aspects. So the common pitfalls when it comes to creating content is that most people, they rely way too much on AI to do all the work. And what ends up happening is you just end up spamming, you know, YouTube or LinkedIn or whatever with AI slop. Stop trying to copy people's transcripts and just remixing it. It doesn't work that way, okay? And it's really important that you don't copy bigger creators one-to-one, right? You want to be a niche of one. So if you see me popping off, right? Like in the last month, 800,000 views, and you're like, oh, I want to copy Patrick and do a one-person business video. You can try, but the reality is, the game is you need to find a gap that someone hasn't filled. So if you copy my video, I already filled that gap. So when you come in, I'm already established as the authority. So why would someone listen to you if you're just starting out when they could listen to me or other people, right? So you need to find your unique angle that other people haven't really seen. And the way I think about it is you want to become the best in the world at what you do and keep redefining what you do until this is true. And this is a quote by, again, Naval Ravikant. Even for myself, when I think about the AI space and I decided and made the commitment to create AI content, I looked at the entire market and I said, okay, I see what everyone's doing. What can I do that is different? What can I do where even if they tried to copy me, it would be so difficult that they wouldn't even want to attempt it? And that's why I believe my content has been doing really well, because if you really study it, and I don't want to reveal too much of how I'm doing it, it is different from all the other creators. So how can you find the gaps in the market? The first thing is you want to look at ideas in your niche that have high demand, low supply. Okay, you're not going to be able to compete directly against the big guys. You're going to find these little pockets nobody is looking at. And the way to do this is you want to use Claude skills to find these pockets. So I have a Claude skill for you, right? And this is literally how I make all my videos. The first thing I do is I type in PD, and I have this one called Content Market Intelligence, right? And what it does is I programmed it to go into my niche, find out what everyone is saying on Reddit, X, YouTube, Twitter, everything, and look for, okay, who are the biggest guys? What are the biggest trending topics that everyone's talking about? What are some ideas that are trending, but none of these big guys are talking about, so I can find these gaps in the market, right? And so in this one, I said, okay, help me find ideas in the AI space. And let's say, you know, I'm a one-person business and I want to do AI automations, helping people install like Claude operating systems into their business, right? And let's say I want to be a big YouTuber. I want to be #1 in the B2B Claude space. How would I go about that? So I just type in this PD, Content Market Intelligence, and then I type this in, and then it's going to do all this research to help me figure out what are the gaps in the market. What it initially looks like is like a lot of text that you can read, right? So I usually just read it off of this and then just try to figure out like, okay, like what are people talking about? What's some keywords or some, you know, topics of interest that are low supply but very high demand? And I actually asked it to create a more HTML version of this to make it visually appealing for you guys for this video. But you kind of see like it's giving me specific insights on, okay, if you're going to go B2B for the Claude OS thing, everyone's talking about how to build an AI agency. So if you did business to business talking about Claude, you would automatically just be in a whole different lane, right? Because like if you're selling how to start an AI automation agency, you're selling to consumers, right? People that want to quit their 9-to-5 jobs. But if you're selling to a business, the topics are going to be completely different. And then it's going to go into keyword volume, connecting with vidIQ to see like what is high demand, low supply. It's going to show the outlier videos of what's doing well. And you want to research these to see like, hey, can you make any of these videos and, you know, put your spin on it? And then it'll even pull in like specific language from Reddit and other websites. Like what are people saying? What are they complaining about? How can you use these key words in your video? When I do this for myself, I literally just take the words that people are saying and then I'll put it into my intro, sometimes word for word, because if everyone's complaining about it and no one's talking about it, I'm the only one who has the courage to say, hey, I'll be the one that talks about it, right? And that's why I'm getting so many views right now. So who owns the conversation and what they're missing, right? So it gives you all the competitors, what are they good at, what is the gap, okay? And then I don't need to go through the entire report, but if you want to do this for yourself in your particular niche, check the link in the description, get the Claude skill, and then you will be able to do the same research that I do. Now, once you do the research, then you have to actually write some kind of script. So for today, we're gonna be talking about the anatomy of a YouTube script in case you guys wanna grow on YouTube, right? So for all my videos, I pretty much have the same format. And a format is just a way you show your content, right? You can do a vlog style, you can do talking head, client testimonial, interview style. There's so many different formats out there. But for me, I like the talking head because it's easy. I can just film it in my house and it's all good, right? So how I look at it is like, okay, this is pretty much, and if you look at all the biggest creators, they also do this as well, right? So I'm gonna break it down for you. Basically, step one is you have some kind of intro, right? There's different ways you can position these. It doesn't have to be in this specific order, but I like to do some kind of big hook, something that's interesting, a big promise in the beginning, showing some credibility, and then what they get if they watch to the end, right? So in this particular video, I said that, oh, the big opportunity now is like starting a one-person business. I'm gonna show you how I personally run my content creation machine and personal brand. How would I have credibility? Because I have 370,000 subs and I'm one of the fastest growing AI creators on the planet right now, right? And then what do they get to the end? I'm gonna show you how you can do it by revealing all my secrets. So that's a pretty good intro because it's like, damn, if you wanna do what I'm doing, then this is the video for you. Then for what I'm actually talking about in the video, I just like break it down into body parts, right? So in this video, I only have 3, body 1, 2, 3, and they all follow the same structure. I have a hook, I have some kind of story that I started off with, or maybe misconceptions on, you know, what people believe that's not true. Then I teach some kind of framework, why it's important to you, and then maybe I'll throw in a call to action here, which I usually do around, you know, the 4 to 5 minute mark. Then I transition into body number 2. Body number 2 is the same exact format, maybe sometimes slight differences depending on the topic. And then I just teach a little bit, then I go to the next one. So all the video is just a bunch of bodies string together. Sometimes I'll have 3 of these, sometimes I'll have 7 of them. Really just depends on the video and how long or short I want to make it, right? And finally, the close. It's really just like tying it all up. What is a big lesson? What are they walking away with? And what are your call to actions that you want them to do to take the next step? Now, if you want the YouTube script writer that I use to write my videos, I actually included it in the Claude skills pack that I was mentioning earlier. So check the link in the description to get all my Claude skills for free. Now, to actually write a script, what I personally do is I have a specific skill to write it, right? So this one's called, PD YouTube script writer. And essentially, I just give it all my raw ideas, and then it writes me the script. It usually be around like 60, 70% of the way, right? So in this example, I already wrote the script based on the research I showed you before. I just told it like, hey, just pick a random idea, write the script in the format that I personally use, which is what I just showed you, and then put it all together, right? So what that actually looks like as the end product is, it gives you a nice, pretty looking script, right? And it's like, okay, this is the title, how long the video should be. And it already did all the research to validate like whether or not this is a good idea, okay? Like it's like, okay, why this video now? Why does the market want it? Title ideas, different emotional angles you can take. And then it just gives you the word by word hook. In this one, I wanted it to give me the word by word hook. And then for the bodies, I just wanted bullet points, right? Then it has different chapters, body 1, body 2, body 3. And then this one has like multiple bodies. This one has 3 chapters, and then it goes for the close, right? Now, with that specific skill, it's not gonna get 100% of the way there. You're gonna give a bunch of raw ideas, and then it's gonna give a lot of good ideas and bullet points. But for me, I have to spend a good amount of time to fix the intro, make sure it's perfect, to add in my own personal stories or client testimonials, things like that, to add some flavor, to add some sauce, right? Because if you just use AI to write a script and you can take the script and give it to another person, it will still work for them, then it's not a good script, right? You need to make something that only you can uniquely make. And a quick tip I have for you when it comes to adding some sauce and just making your videos interesting is you want to be using AI to create a lot of the visuals, right? If you look at my videos, a lot of it is really just slides that I'm going one by one. And when it comes to the animations, like you can literally use AI. So I'm using Claude plus another app to do this, but like, look at this. Like I didn't make this, AI made the whole thing. And even the mountain of cringe diagram that I showed you, it's made with AI. Like you can do this, right? I literally made this in 5 minutes, everything. And like all the diagrams that we have, it's also made by AI. And all I did was I just drew it out on Figma like this and hand drew it with my mouse. And I just ran it through AI to make it look pretty. The mountain of cringe example, it literally started as this. I made it in like 2 minutes, ran it through AI, made it look much better. So truly, with Claude AI, Claude Design, or any other tool at your disposal, it's never been easier to build a one-person business, be a creator, and create attention and monetize that, right? You have all the tools now. There's no excuse. But of course, now you have some of my secrets, you have the roadmap, but some of you guys might be like, hey, this is cool and all, but I think I need a little extra help. Now, if you're someone who's actually serious about building a one-person business, building a personal brand, I invite you to book a call with me and my team where we're gonna help you map out a custom game plan specifically to help you turn your skills, knowledge, and experience into an online business powered by AI. If that's interesting to you at all, make sure to check the link in the description, book a time on our calendar, and we will talk to you soon. And if you wanna watch another video before you do that, check out this one where I'm gonna show you how to build a one-person business powered by AI from scratch.